This is one of the most handsome men in comedy. Believe it or not, we're about the same age. I'm falling to pieces. Here he is, Carl Brown. Let's go, everybody!
Cheers, mate. Craig mentioned earlier that there is a by-election going on in Clacton. Count Binface is standing in against a pile of rubbish. There is something really, really weird if you stop and think about our parliamentary system. To become an MP, you need one more vote than any other candidate. It is theoretically possible to become an MP with one vote if all you do is give everybody else in the constituency food poisoning on polling day. If you replicate that across 325 other constituencies, you can form a government on 326 votes nationally. So I'm starting a catering company. Now, like Lloyd, I also went to a public school, and you can tell I was groomed from a young age. And they'll teach you some strange things at public school. One of the things they taught me was public speaking. So friends and family will ask for advice if they've got to give a speech or presentation, or like one friend of mine who decided he was going to change careers. He'd been in finance for his whole career and he wanted to give back to the community. I think he wanted to prove he had a soul. But like many people, he is a nervous public speaker. So he did some research online, found some advice what to do when you get anxious, called me up to ask my opinion. It's the advice that when you get anxious in front of a crowd, you should picture them naked or in their underwear as a way of humanising them. He's a primary school teacher. I've got another friend who is a psychotherapist. Her specialty is anxiety. And she says you should ignore the common advice. The common advice is to try to clear your mind. She says the brain will focus on something if you try and clear your brain. So just focus on something that you want to do, because the brain hates a vacuum, which explains the state of my carpets. Like Jack mentioned earlier, many comedians are autistic. I am one of them. That's autistic, please. I do not identify as neurospicy. I am not a curry. It can be quite difficult to tell with some autistic people, especially older autistic people who maybe mask incredibly well. So some friends and some businesses say to me, Carl, you should wear the sunflower lanyard so people know you've got hidden disabilities and you may need additional help. Now, I've got no problem if people do choose to wear the sunflower lanyard. There is just something nagging me in the back of my mind that makes me think that forcing a group of people to identify their difference by wearing what is effectively a yellow star may not be the best idea. Autism is also not a superpower. Sorry to disappoint some people. You do not get it by being bitten by a radioactive autistic person. In the UK, what autism is basically a guarantee of being unemployed. 85% of autistic adults are unemployed. Could you imagine a comic with an unemployed superhero? Page 4, sure. You defeat Galactus and save the day. Pages 5 through 9, you're having a conversation with a DWP decision maker because their list of valid reasons for missing a universal credit work coach appointment does not include saving the world. And on page 10, they go, okay, we'll let you off this once, but if the Skrull invade and it clashes with your next appointment, you must give us 48 hours notice, otherwise we will have to sanction you and you will lose your benefits for 6 months. Something else that people do get wrong about autism. Autism is not something that everybody has. That is not what it means with a spectrum. If everybody was autistic, the world would be much nicer for autistic people. It would be quieter. People would say what they mean. We'd have herb-based sustainable fuel sources, and buses and trains would run on time. A couple of other reasons why not everybody can be autistic. One, it would be an admission from the vaccine deniers that autism is actually genetic, and they're not going to admit that. And because autism is genetic, if everybody had it, it would have to come from the last common ancestor of all people. And that person was in sub-Saharan and Central Africa. Nobody is trying to claim that race is a spectrum and we're all a little bit black, are they? Back when I was actually in work, I used to work in digital projects, so I am a little bit of a geek when it comes to websites. You see on websites, you get the cookie banner. It says, do you accept cookies? You click on that, it gives you cookies. I sometimes click on it to see what they're trying to actually sign me up for. And I was on one the other day, and it wanted to share me with 1,745 partners. Do I look like Bonnie Blue? I can assure you there is a big difference. When Bonnie Blue gets shared between over 1,000 partners, she makes money. I get Argos trying to tell me to buy the exact same microwave I just bought on their website. As a kid, I always wanted to try and talk to ghosts. That's why I'm on Tinder. And there are a couple of big red flags that I see when I'm swiping on profiles. A big one, ladies, is there anybody here who wants to be treated like a princess or a queen? Good, because I'm a Republican and I don't think you want me to treat you like you're Marie Antoinette. I also think it's a bit of a red flag when you get a single mother on Tinder who expressly puts on her profile that her kids are her priority. As if I was expecting to pick her up for a date, ask how the kids are. Oh, they're all right, I've left them working on a private party island for the night. Gave them a stomach card reader, they're earning rent tonight. I think they're being taken to Pizza Express afterwards. But a lot of women, especially at my age, they still want to date the bad boy. And that has confused me over the years, so I've asked some of my female friends, why do women want to date the bad boy? Apparently there's this idea, ladies, that you can fix him. I know a vet. These guys are not going to miss that part of their anatomy. They love to justify their behaviour by saying, nice guys finish last. I think it's a nice thing if she gets to finish first. Second. Third, if we can manage it. And you have met those kinds of men. They're the kinds of men who beat their chest and talk about what an alpha male they are. Now, I'm 41, I grew up watching Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. So if you start to say that you're an alpha, you immediately start sounding like Alpha 5, and I cannot take you seriously. Aye, Zordon, beta cucks are surrounding us. I've got to kidnap 5 teens. Aye, I'm on a list. And these same guys will say that if a woman wants to avoid getting pregnant, she should just abstain from sex. They love to do their Christian symbols and say, abstain from sex, as if Mary, Mother of God, stretch marks don't say differently. But of course, not all of these people want to be called an alpha male. Some of them, like Andrew Tate, prefer to be called Top G, which stands for gangster, spelt STA, not STD. Now, unfortunately for Mr. Tate, I understand a small, dangerously small amount of Japanese. And there is a creature that every nation on the planet has. The Japanese word for it is gokiburi. G-O-K-I-B-U-R-I. But the Japanese so revile this creature that if they see one, they shorten it to G. So Mr. Tate has been calling himself the top cockroach. And these people as well, they've got this idea about gender, that there are 2 genders, men and women, and the difference is that men have a penis. Which did get me thinking, if somebody was to go around the streets of Etwall, slicing men's cocks off and castrating them, what gender would the recently castrated people be? Are we one unruly Romanian mob away from Andrea Tate? Or, in Clacton, from Nigella Farage? Speaking of dicks, I've got a really good friend in showbiz. She's a sex-positive influencer, presenter, comedian. A few years ago, she posted on her Instagram that playing with a guy's dick is like looking after a houseplant. You give it lots of love, lots of affection, lots of attention. You get it damp every once in a while, and it will grow to be big and strong and fill you with joy. And I wrote to her and said, Kat, I think you're wrong with that. I think it's more like raising a child. Yes, you give it lots of love and affection, kisses, caresses, you might smack it occasionally if it gets naughty. You do hope it will be big and strong and give you lots and lots of satisfaction. But deep down, you know it's just going to be another selfish, disappointing little prick. I've been Carl Brown, thank you.